You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, and more specifically their coach. Now, earlier I made another Joe Hendry reference. In case anybody does not know, that's a WWE/TNA wrestler that has a theme song that goes, "I believe in Joe Hendry." It's extremely contagious and catchy. I cannot believe I'm going to say this, but you may want to start believing in Christie Sides, the coach of the Indiana Fever, because I don't think she's going anywhere. And I don't know how I missed this earlier. This came out several hours ago. Now it's starting to get around and people are starting to react to it, but it looks like the very same coach that I contend actually blew some games earlier this year, it looks like she's not going anywhere. And that is per the general manager, Lin Dunn of the Indiana Fever. Now, you guys know I've been vocal. We could go into all the missteps, all right? All of them. Whether it's maybe cutting the wrong player, starting the wrong player, benching the wrong player, benching Caitlin Clark at the wrong time, calling timeouts to kill her own team's runs, or not calling timeouts and letting another team continue a 25-point run. I've got major issues with this decision. Now, do I think there's things that she should be able to do to keep her job? Yeah, make the WNBA finals. And that's it, probably. And win the whole thing, right? Other than that, I'd be looking for a former NBA coach, preferably one that's had a lot of playoff success, maybe even one that's won a NBA title already, right? Well, here we go, and I don't think she's going anywhere. Indiana Fever general manager Lin Dunn has a 3-year rebuild plan, and it's something she references constantly. This is the Indy Star. It started when she became the Fever interim general manager in February of 2022, developed a blueprint to get Indiana, who hadn't been to the playoffs since 2016, back to the postseason within 3 years. Well, look, having a rebuild plan, that's great. It's smart. But let's be honest. Had you not been bad enough to draft Caitlin Clark, none of this would matter. Because how much better would you actually be right now? Nobody knows, right? But we know one thing. You're a lot better because you happen to be the worst team in the league last year. And you started out pretty badly this year. We had to restart, rebuild, recharge, reboot, whatever word you want to say, the Fever franchise. And I feel like where we are, I anticipated that we would be challenging for a playoff spot in year 3, Dunn said. Now, she believes they're at year 2.5. So she doesn't believe that they technically, right here, she likes to call it 2.5, right? We like to feel like we're building a real good core there, even though we're young, that can compete at the highest level. So I like where we are. I would say we're a little bit ahead of schedule. So she's got this team ahead of schedule right now. Interesting, because you've got 3 bona fide all-stars. Kelsey Mitchell, you got Aaliyah Boston, you got Caitlin Clark. This team should absolutely be a playoff lock. I mean, that's being honest, right? Back-to-back number 1 picks help a lot. But one of the most important parts of the rebuild was Dunn's hiring of Christie Sides. A first-time head coach, Sides was hired prior to the 2023 season, tasked with turning around what had become a perennial losing franchise. In the 6 seasons prior to Sides' arrival, Indiana had a 45-147 record. Yikes. The worst mark in all of North American team sports. Wow. So 13-15 seems like a massive step forward, right? That futility led to the lack of stability. The Fever are on their 4th coach in 7 years since Stephanie White, who now coaches the Connecticut Sun, left for Vanderbilt in 2016. None of those coaches lasted more than 3 years. Let's not go into them. I just don't want to. I don't want to vomit. Now, after about a year and a half in the side's tenure, Dunn is confident in her progress. Quote, one of the things that really goes into being consistently successful is stability. Okay, I get that. And I think stability at the top is key. And I think since Coach White left, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know how many head coaches. And when you've had head coaching changes, you've had assistant coaching changes. So it's like a roller coaster. So it's hard to grow that stability. I like what Christie has done, like what she did last year. I think what we're trying to do is grow stability. You know what to expect. You know what system is going to be. You know what is not constantly changing. And so we're trying to get a stable of our players, stable with our growth. It was fun to play throughout this year. Fever guard Lexi Hull said following the 2023 season, the second half of 2022 was tough, blah, 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 blah. So that's where you're at, folks, is you're keeping, by the way, Caitlin Clark, when it comes to guards, the Fever's got the best one in the league right now. Points created first, blocks first, rebounds first, assists first, 7th in points, 7th in steals. So that's something Christie Sides has been working with. So now there's some reaction coming in to this Christie Sides is going to stay racket, right? The weak link of that team is Christie Sides. They will always be playing with one hand tied behind their back as long as she is the coach. I'm sorry, but she does nothing to elevate the team. They need a head coach that loves up tempo and allows Caitlin to be Caitlin. Man, it's time to start forcing myself to like Christie Sides since she's not going anywhere. Yikes. Christie Sides is my head coach for the foreseeable future. There's a meme right there. All I can do is accept this. Yikes. And this is a direct response these people are giving to this article we're looking at right here. I mean, wow. Unpopular opinion, we can ease up on Christie Sides now. Yes, they started 1-8, but they've gone 12-7 since. They are growing as a team at an impressive rate. Look, they had a murderer's row situation at the beginning of the year, and I get that. But there have been some egregious mistakes. All right? Egregious. Seriously. Yeah, it's bad. I don't care. Christie Sides must be fired if we lose after 6 days of rest. You know, I mean, you're going to have people it's nuts. I just read that one, I think. But you get the point. People are starting to react to this, and I think once it starts getting around even more, you're going to have some outrage over this. Because, again, why can't you have an NBA coach? What is the reasoning for that exactly? What's the problem? I'd call Mark Jackson and give him all the money. After being around Golden State and having success with Golden State and the Indiana tie, I mean, specifically, Mark Jackson would be my guy I'd call. I'd call Larry Bird, too. Again, playoff success. Again, Indiana. I mean, again, Larry and Magic and understanding that dynamic of what it is Caitlin Clark's going through in the league right now in this transition. Not to mention, he was a great passer, great three-point shooter, all this stuff. I've said, love child of Larry Bird and Steph Curry. There's your connective tissues with both of those guys. I don't know. And look, again, if they make the WNBA Finals, yeah, you have to give her another year. But if they shit the bed, or if they crash and burn and don't make the playoffs, if they don't make the playoffs, I mean, it's a wrap. It needs to be a wrap. And it doesn't sound like it's going to be. That would be an awful direction to turn. This team is way too talented to miss any playoffs of any sort. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.